Hey friends, welcome back to House and Heart. I'm so excited that you're going to be joining me today for my kitchen makeover video. So Nate and I had moved to the southeast portion of the United States, so we do live in a coastal community, and this is the kitchen that we have in our home, and this is how it kind of came. So we're going to kind of improvise this kitchen and make it more our own, with our own style. We are going to have a little slight coastal flair. Now, just so you know, this is not like the end-all makeover. So Nate and I are going to fix up these cabinets as we temporarily have them here to kind of still make it our style. However, the end goal is to completely get new cabinets and new sink, all of that. So to basically completely remodel the entire kitchen. However, right now, we are just going to be fixing up our current cabinets as we budget for like a bigger kitchen remodel. So here's some ideas of how you can kind of remodel and make over your kitchen on a budget. This whole process took probably about $100. So it is not super expensive to make your kitchen look very different. So the first thing Nate and I are doing is we're actually going to be taking down these cabinets on this side of the wall. I really enjoy floating shelves for like my plates and cups and such, and so Nate is taking this down on this side of the wall, and it really does open up our kitchen even further. Our kitchen is somewhat of a galley kitchen, but it is a lot wider than most galley kitchens, which I like that. So once Nate and I got all of the cabinets down on that side, I did putty the wall and fill in any of the holes from the cabinet screws. Next up, I'm just going to be painting the trim on this wall. So the paint that was on the trim was very dull, and it was not in like a satin or semi-gloss finish, so it was very hard to clean, and it just got marks very easily. So I'm just going over it with my, I believe this is like a semi-gloss finish, just because I like my trim to be very easy to clean. One of the things that I really appreciate about this kitchen is it came with this little kitchenette area that has a bench with storage underneath. So I really like this area. I think it just adds a lot of character to the kitchen. So something about this house, and you can look at my previous videos as well, but the whole house was gray. And so Nate and I came from the Midwest, and we were trying to get away from cool colors. So I am repainting our entire kitchen either like a white, or I believe it's Swiss Coffee by Bear from Home Depot. And so that's kind of what I did for the entire kitchen as well. And I really appreciate how it looks. I think it just really warms up the space and just makes it feel a lot more crisp and clean. So going back to the area of the kitchen where we took down the cabinets, I had painted behind the cabinets just so that that could start to dry, because my husband was going to put up our floating shelves. I really appreciate floating shelves. I had them in our last kitchen, and I decided to put them in our new one as well. Something I love about this house is that literally every room has a vaulted ceiling. I think it really makes the space feel larger and more spacious. However, it does take a while to get all of the areas, just because you kind of have to do the wall in two steps. One where like you can actually reach, and then the other one where you are like using your extending roller and just getting up really as high as you can. And then also I was kind of a little bit of a gymnast, crawling around on cabinets to try to trim like the piece where the ceiling meets the wall. But I did get it all finished. Nate and I kind of have our designated roles in house projects. I am always the painter, and Nate does a lot of the other things when it comes to measuring or muscle work or anything like that. He's amazing, and I think we're a really good team. So after I got done painting, Nate helped me put up a new light fixture in kind of our kitchenette nook area. And so we got this lampshade from IKEA. It was super economical. I think it was like $30 or $40. So we just put a little Edison bulb there. But I had finished up painting, and then the next thing was for Nate to put up the floating shelves. So at this point I was really enjoying our makeover so far. I think with the kind of an off-white paint that I put up, it just makes it feel a lot more bigger and crisper, and it just makes it feel a little bit more spacious. And so Nate is now going to be putting up the brackets for our floating shelves. We got these brackets on Amazon. I will be sure to link them in the description box below, but Amazon actually has some very affordable brackets that you can use for floating shelves. So Nate is just leveling all the brackets so that they are level and our shelves aren't kitty wonkus. So like I said, this is where Nate shines. He is my little Boy Scout, and he does make sure things are very level and precise, whereas I'm a little bit more, I just like to eyeball things. So anyway, so he's going to be putting this up, and then we did get a shelf, like a piece of wood from Home Depot. We did have to cut off a little bit of it just because it was a little bit too wide. So Nate just took off just a little bit, and then it fit perfectly. I was so excited to start putting our dishes on our shelf. So again, like I said in my previous videos, when we lived in the Midwest, I had taken down a cabinet in my old kitchen and put up floating shelves, and we used them for all of our plates and cups, and I just really like the access. Now I've got 4 of them here, so it was just kind of fun to kind of stage it and make the shelves just look cute and functional with some of our kitchen supplies, and just with some greenery to just kind of liven up the space a little. So when I do decorate floating shelves, I will play around with the shelves a lot. So that's what you're gonna see me doing here, even how I ended up switching it out, so you'll see the after photos as well. But yeah, I do play a lot with my shelves before I actually come to a arrangement that I like. So next it was time to set up this little corner in the kitchen. I had our little rolling kitchen cart that I used for some of our cooking bowls and utensils, and then I had my husband Nate put up our little mirror that I found at Goodwill, and just kind of I painted the edges of it a gold color just to kind of warm up the space. I thought it looked really cute in the corner there. And just like that, our kitchen cabinets are painted. I will be sure to link the paint brushes and the tools that I used below. Just used a paintbrush and a mini roller to paint all of the kitchen cabinets. I did not take any of the doors off. I left the hinges on. So again, this wasn't meant to be a super like long-term fix. It was just more of a temporary aesthetic fix to our kitchen, and so it did go on really well. I used a satin gloss for the kitchen cabinets, and then Nate and I also got these bar handles for our cabinets, so I used them for the pulls and then the drawers as well. So Nate and I just worked on putting them there. If you're wondering why I'm dressed up, it's because this is Thanksgiving Day, and Nate and I had like 2 hours before it was time to actually go to the friend's house we were going. So I was all dressed up for Thanksgiving, and this isn't really a messy job. You just drill and screw in the handles. So that's why I'm dressed up. But no, I typically don't get all dressed up to do house projects. So I joked with my husband because, as you can see, I'm not really measuring any of the pulls I'm putting in. So basically what I'm doing is, like I told you, I'm an eyeballer. So I just kind of pressed in the handle and it made a little circle around where I was supposed to drill. So that's how I'm spacing them out. And they did turn out really good. Like, they're not obviously like crooked or anything, but it's very much how I do projects. So if you are more of a type A person and you need to measure and level, that's totally fine. You do you with your house. The next makeover step is I'm actually going to be using contact paper on our current counters, and the reason I'm doing this is because Nate and I want to get obviously new counters. I think these countertops are like original to the house, but in order to get new countertops we need to get new cabinets, and so the ones that we currently had I was just kind of worn and kind of discolored. So I am just using this contact paper that I found on Amazon. It has held up really well, so I think this is probably like our 5th month using our contact paper, and again, it's held up really well. So if you are renting a space and you don't like the countertops, you kind of want a different feel or aesthetic, I would highly recommend getting contact paper and just putting it on top of your current counters, and it has stuck really well. There really hasn't been much issues with it. So and then again, I'm just going to be cutting between the backsplash and the countertop. I will be caulking the portions of like where the backsplash meets the counter, just to kind of give it more of a finished look. Again, when we remodel, like for real, when we like take everything out, these will probably just be either donated or we'll move them to our garage or whatnot. Again, when I do projects, I don't like to be super precise or picky, because that just kind of makes me feel a little bit paralyzed. So for me, I just kind of just make it look a little bit better, and for me that's good. Something that was helpful when I was applying the contact paper was I would actually take a book and then I would just kind of shimmy it down as I would unroll the paper from the non-sticky part. So that worked for me. Yeah, it turned out really good. It totally looks so different than it did. Again, it just kind of makes it look a lot more crisp and bright. So this is what my countertops look like after I had finished applying the contact paper and caulking where like the sink met the contact paper and then where the backsplash met the counter. And I think it looks so much better. And everyone loves a good before and after. So here's what our kitchen looked like before and after. And it looks so different. I really love our kitchen now. It just looks a lot more clean and coastal. I didn't film this portion, but my little kitchenette nook area here, I did paint this textured portion of the wall, and I think it just really softens the space. I do like the two-toned cabinets. The top ones are white and the bottom ones are like a blue color, and our floating shelves. I think it just makes our space look even more spacious and it flows a lot better. Nate and I have enjoyed cooking in here and just hosting people in our kitchen. And again, this was a super affordable makeover, and I just hope that it inspired you and that you found this motivational, that you too can do this if you're looking at doing a kitchen room makeover or a remodel, or you're just looking to kind of freshen up your space. This is really a doable project. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I truly do appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and feel free to subscribe so you don't miss any future content. See you in my next video.